What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we're going to be starting another new series, and this series is going to be the advanced scripting series. So I made a beginner scripting series a while ago, so now it's time for the advanced scripting series. So after this series you should be able to know a lot about Roblox Studio, and you should hopefully be able to make maybe your first game. So anyways, guys, this is the 200 special, and before we start, make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss out on my videos, and turn on notifications as well, and go check out my second channel. I'll put the link in the description, and thank you guys for watching this again, and let's just get into it. Alright, so we're going to be talking about the services today. So no scripting today, we're just going to be talking about the services. So I briefly explained them in my other videos, but this is going to be more of a tutorial just for them. Okay, so Workspace. If you don't know what the services are, these are all the services on the Explorer, but Workspace. So you should know what Workspace is by now. It's just what everything inside of Workspace is, like the game that you can actually do stuff in. But before we actually move on to the next services, camera and terrain. Camera, if you go into camera in the properties, you'll see all this stuff, so you can like change the camera position and orientation and the field of view and stuff. So if I was going to change this field of view to 30, you'll see that it changes the field of view, but 70 is the default. You can fix the camera type and everything on your player and stuff. So yeah, that's basically what the camera is. You can do stuff with the camera. And then terrain, you can fix the terrain watercolor and everything, and all that stuff. So that's basically what those two do. They're in the workspace because you can see them. Also, this is not really part of this thing, but if you add inside the terrain clouds, you'll actually get clouds up here, and you can actually go to the properties, and you can change the clouds properties, like cover, how much it covers, the density, and then the color of it. So if you want it to be stormy, you can change it to a gray color. And basically that's how you get clouds without having to get a skybox. And the cool thing is the clouds actually move, this is a recent update in Studio. So if you want to make realistic games, you can do that. Okay, so you know what the workspace is. Anything you add inside of it will be in the workspace. Okay, so now that we go over the workspace, let's go over the players. Okay, so players basically just shows the players that are in the game. So this is my character. I'm in the game right now, and inside of me I have a backpack and my player scripts. Player scripts, this is basically just the player scripts of inside the player. The backpack, anything that's inside my backpack is going to be in my toolbar. So if I had an Apple tool, we went over tools in another video, so you can go check that one out if you want to learn about tools. But basically anything in this hotbar down here that you have in some games, that will be your tools. So I'm going to play the game here, and I'll show you right now when I join in the game inside the players, inside my backpack. Also, whenever you join the game, it does add some additional things to these services that only run when the game is ran. So I have my free cam right here. Free cam, basically, if you hold shift and P, you have a free cam here. So if you didn't know that, you can do that in some games. I don't think all games allow it, but if you hold shift and P, you can change the free cam of your thing. So yeah, basically that's what that is. So I just deleted the free cam, now I can't do it anymore. Player scripts, those are just all the player scripts. If I was to delete that, I don't think anything would happen really, but I think they're ran in another script, in these starter player scripts as well. But anyways, back to the backpack. If you go to toolbox over here, okay, toolbox, and then you're gonna search, let's just say we want an apple. Let's get an apple. Okay, so you have to, I'm gonna search up apple tool here. Okay, so now I have a tool here, And if I have this tool and I put it in my backpack, you'll see that I have it right here. You see this? I have it in my hand. So whenever I equip it, it disappears and then it reappears in my backpack. The backpack is basically just what stores the stuff. So yeah, so basically that's what the backpack is in there. So that's what players are. That's what the player service is. It just handles all the players. Okay, lighting service. The lighting service is well, it handles all the lighting in the game. So if you go to properties, you can change the ambient, and I can change it to whatever color I'd like. And now you see it's red. The brightness of your game and stuff like that. Global shadows, that just means shadows in your game. So like if I was to spawn this R6 dummy here, right now if I go to lighting, like right here, and then I go to lighting, if I turn off global, actually, let me make this at the default so you can see. If I turn on global shadows, there should be a shadow whenever you join the game and stuff. But that's what global shadows do under lighting. And then let's see. These are just other stuff that you can mess around with for lighting stuff. The shadow softness, just how soft the shadows are. 0 just means you can see the shadows really good. 1 means that it's going to be kind of blurry. So I like to keep it at 0, or put it to 0. Shadow map just changes like how the map looks. So just like the different lighting styles. I would keep it at shadow map. And you can change the clock time. So you change like if you want your game to be taking place at nighttime and stuff. That's how you would do that. So I'm gonna change this back to daytime. Okay. So basically inside the lighting, you also have other stuff that you can change the properties. I'm not gonna go over all this right now. You can mess around with all this if you want, and add in like stuff that you want as well. But you can mess around with that if you want. So that's what the lighting does. It handles the lighting. Next is the material service. Okay, so material service, basically it handles the materials. So like right now, if you go to your material manager, you have all your materials here. Those are the default ones added by Roblox. But now let's just search up here in the toolbox. Let's search up grass material. So in here, grass material, there's different grass materials that people have made. So this is a material that is not from Roblox right now. Well, this one is probably from Roblox, but let's see. So this one is not from Roblox. This one right here, let's just use this one. If we add this material in here into our game, it will put it inside the material service. And now when we go to our material manager, down here, you'll see that we have this material, and it has this little symbol here. That means that it's not from Roblox. So now if you're going to delete it, it would delete that material. So basically, that's how you would add, that's what material service does. It just adds any like extra materials in there and handles like the materials and stuff. And also some of these services, you might not really be able to do anything with them. It's really just there for like the overall Roblox game that you have that is managed by Roblox. But this just adds like extra materials. If you want to add your own material, you have to make it and stuff. I can make a video on that if you want. I don't really know how to do it, but I can figure it out. But you can import a 3D material thing here if you want to add your custom one. So that's what that does. Network client. Okay, so let's go over network client. Basically, the network client is just responsible for connecting the client to the network on the server on the game. Basically, I don't know if you can really do anything with this like on a script. I think it's just there for like handling like whenever a player joins the game. Basically, whenever a client basically just means player, but whenever a client joins the game, I think this network client just connects it to the network of the servers. I think that's what it does. So that's what the client replicator does. So yeah, that's what the network client is. We won't really be using that much, but okay, replicated first. Okay, so replicated first is basically responsible to loading the like loading different things to like the client, but not the server. So like it's like a storage container for them, which you'll see in replicated storage in a minute. So it only is responsible for like local stuff and not server stuff. So it's only for like the client stuff. So like maybe like loading a GUI or something, that will be in the replicated first, because it's on the locals and it's on the client side and not the server side. So that's what replicated first does. I don't know if we'll really be using this at all, so you don't really have to worry about this right now. But replicated first is just responsible for replicating like the the like client side of stuff. It's like a storage container for that. So replicated storage is like kind of like the same thing, but it only stores like stuff in like the server and like throughout the whole game. That's where you put like it's a storage container for that. So like basically, let's say you have okay, so pretend this part is a tool right here, and I'm gonna make another part right here. Pretend this is also the same tool. Okay, so let's pretend like this a tool right here, we put it in like the player's backpack inside the player right here. So now basically, whenever the player picks, actually no, okay, I'm sorry, put it, if this is an example, let's pretend this in the replicated storage. Whenever you put this part in any other service, you won't be able to see it. Only in the workspace you can see stuff. So just know that as well. So if it disappears, if you can still like move it and stuff, but you can't see it until you actually do something with it. So pretend this part is in the replicated storage, and this part is in the workspace. So now let's pretend like we wanted this to be like maybe an item that you can pick up or something like that. So you walk over to it and then you try to touch it and maybe you pick it up. And then what the replicated storage you would do in a script is basically instead of it just, I mean, you can just move it to the player's backpack, but like one example would be like it would clone this part in the replicated storage and then put the new clone inside the backpack and then delete this part in the workspace. So it's basically storage for like everything on the server and stuff, as well as like remote events. We didn't learn about that yet. We'll probably learn about that in like the next video. But remote events do this. You put remote events in the replicated storage as well. So that's what that does. We'll be going over this more in future videos. Server service. I already talked about this in my beginner series. I think I did talk about these services in my beginner series, but not like in deep depth. So this is what we're doing today. In the server script service is where you put all your server scripts. So like if I can write anything in here, and the server would handle these scripts. So that means you would not put any like local scripts in this server script service, because that won't work. It's called server script service and not local script service. So server script is basically just the is just the default script. That's what it just runs on the whole server. So like I already went over local scripts in my beginner series video, but the difference between server scripts and local scripts is basically the local script only runs on the client side. That's what that little computer thing is. And the server scripts, which is the default script, runs on the server. So like let's say you are playing a game and you want like a GUI, so like it says like a timer on the top of the screen. Let's say you only want that timer to play for somebody whenever they press a button. You wouldn't do that through a server script, because if you did, then it will play for everybody, because since it's running on the server. But you want it to play for a local script, so it only is accessible to a player whenever they do something. So those are the things, local script and server script. If you want to learn more about those, you can go back to my beginner scripting series and check that video out. Okay, so now we're going to learn about server storage. So server storage is basically almost the exact same as replicated storage, except the main difference is replicated storage, like I said, does stuff with the server and the client. So It also does stuff with the client as well. The replicated storage, server storage only does stuff with the server. So like for instance, replicated storage, like remote events, we didn't cover these, but this is basically like an event that plays whenever something happens. So that can be accessed by a client whenever they do something, or the server. But server storage is only accessible through a server. For instance, like you have a map that you want to store, then you want that map to appear, maybe you would have it in the server storage, so it's only stuff that runs on the server side. Starter GUI is next. I have a series that I'm making as well about GUIs, so you can go watch those as well. The starter GUIs basically just holds the GUIs for your game. So it's just a service for that. I'm not going to go over this really because I'm making another series about this. But yeah, it's just the GUIs for your game. Okay, so starter pack. Starter pack is where you put tools in. So like if I have a tool, if I add a tool in the workspace and then put it in the starter pack and I play the game, you'll see that inside my game, I have a tool in my backpack. So if I went to my player in my backpack, I have a tool here, and then when I take it out, I think it puts it in this, it deletes it or something. No, it puts it in the workspace, right? No, it doesn't. I think it, okay, no, it puts it, let's see. Okay, so this is what it does. It puts it in my backpack when I'm not using it. When I equip it, it puts it in my player, so you can actually see it, but you can't see anything right now because I didn't make a tool. You can go watch my tool video if you want to know how to make tools again. But yeah, so starter pack is just the pack of your tools that you would have. So like, for instance, the difference between the starter pack instead of just putting it in the backpack, which means what that means is basically backpack, everybody has their own backpack. So if you were going to make the mistake and put it inside the backpack, that won't work because this is only inside of my character. So if you want if to run on everybody's character and you only put it in your backpack, then it just will not work. It won't work, it will only work for you. So if you want it to be accessible to everybody, you'll put it in the starter pack. I can put a tool in the starter pack and it will be accessible to everybody. It's called starter pack because whenever you join the game, anything in this starter pack would basically just be all your tools that you would have would be inside the starter pack when you join the game. So like, let's say maybe games like Doomspire Brick Battle, you have like all your tools and stuff that you can use. Those are all in the starter pack because you start the game with them. But if you wanted to like make a separate tool that you can only pick up, you'll put it in the workspace, and then it will move to the backpack, so you wouldn't put it in the starter pack. So basically that's just all the tools that you start out with. So that's what the starter pack is. Now for the starter player, inside the properties of starter player, you can change like the camera modes and stuff. Like you can change it to first person, or like lock it in first person. You can change like how much health they have, your walk speed and everything, your jump settings, your controls that you can do. And inside the starter player, you have your starter character scripts and your starter player scripts. So the starter character scripts basically runs all the scripts for your character, and starter player scripts runs it for your player. So the difference between them is inside the starter character scripts, maybe you would have scripts for like, maybe you want it to play like an animation for your character, like a custom animation. You would put it in the starter character scripts because it's affecting your character. So basically like, okay, so let's say I have pretend this is you. Okay, so pretend this is your character. This is your character right here. So an animation would be inside starter character scripts because it's affecting your character, so whatever your character would be doing, which is an animation. But your starter player scripts would only be your player scripts. So like for instance, let's say you have like let's say you have something that you only want it to work in your player script. So like maybe you want it to like, I don't really know how to explain this, but basically here, I'll just say it like this. I'll simplify it and say starter character scripts only works on your character. So like for instance, animations and stuff, or like something like that, or anything that will affect your character will be in here, but anything that will affect your player script, so basically anything that affects your player, like let's say you have a script in your starter player script for like here, I'm trying to think of something that you would put in your starter player scripts. Okay, so basically inside the starter player scripts, it's like you can only the player can see it. So like maybe like scripts for like maybe like if you put a server script inside this, it won't work. In both of these, if you put a server script in there, it won't work because it's only accessible to the starter player. So only the player that wants to do it. So like starter player scripts will be scripts that handle like stuff that only the player can see or do. So yeah, it affects your players, the player's client side, only things that the player would want to do. So like, we'll go into more depth in these in like another video, but yeah, so character scripts only affect your character, so like your model, and then starter player scripts only affect like something that your player wants to do, like inside of it like that. So yeah, teams basically is just like teams in your game. Those are like different teams that you put in your game. Sound service just runs the sound for your game, and text chat service is just the service that runs for the chat. Okay, we've gone over all of the services. Okay, finally we've gone over all the services. So yes guys, that is the end of the video. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you understand what these services do now more a little bit better. So we will be going into more depth in all these services in a future video. So yeah guys, this has been episode 1 in the advanced scripting series, and I will see you guys in the next video coming soon. Goodbye.